Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Great. So, this is where we were. We are now talking about the instance where we have two for loops in the comprehension. So the whole idea of list comprehension is just forming your list in one line. Okay, and I said this is not something you can just look and say you understand it. It's by doing it. The more you do it, that's the more you get to understand it. But it's always good because it keeps your code cleaner, and it like reduces how many lines of code you have. Let me put it that way. Okay. And then when you're going through other people's codes, if you don't understand it, you might see something like this and you get lost. What's going on here? Because a more advanced programmer might just write something like this in one line. He has created a list. Okay. So I'll ask again before we continue. Does anyone have any question about this list comprehension? Hmm?
No. On my end, I don't have a question.
None from my end.
Okay, good evening.
Jeremy, go ahead.
My question is on the chapter 6. Let me see. Question number. Let me open the questions.
Okay, before we go to your
Yes.
question, because that your question now is taking us out of where we are. Okay.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll take it in the end. So let's just look at two-dimensional lists.
Okay.
So when we talk about two dimensions in list, it's not like dimensions in matrix or array. Say, but okay, let me just go down to it. So it simply means a list in a list, a two-dimensional list. For instance, our list can be equal to this. Let me say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we can have this 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Mm, 17, 18, 19, 20. So like this now is a two-dimensional list. Okay. You can also write everything. You can also write everything in one line. But just put it like this so that we can visually just see that we have lists in a list.
Yes.
Okay. So if we want to have a three-dimensional list, what we'll basically be doing is having maybe this list here would contain other lists. This list will contain other list. This list will contain other list. And this list will contain other list. Now, to access the elements, you could have, maybe if I want to print this 10, I will have something like that. List of 2 like this and 5 or 4. Let me put this way. 4. No. So I'm printing from this list, I'm printing list 2 and element 4. So when you look at this list, this one is, okay, sorry, this should be list 1. This is 1. So remember, we start counting from 0. So this is 0. This is 1. This is 2. And this is 3. So those are the index of each of these lists. Now, if you want to print maybe this list, let me remove the 4 so you understand. If I do like this, list index 1, save. Let me remove all these things so they don't disturb. So you can see I'm printing the list of interest, which is this one, because it's on index 1. Then inside of the second list, 10, which is what I'm targeting, is on index 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, I go 4. So lists like this are 2-dimensional lists. So you have the first dimension, the second dimension. Now you can have a 3-dimensional list. Maybe you can also pick another item from it. Maybe say item number 2. This 3-dimensional, but this our list is not 3-dimensional. Our list is 2-dimensional. So this will be index error. You see, because a type error object is not subscriptable. But basically, this is because we don't have that. Okay. In fact, what's actually happening is, let me put it back and show you something. When I did this, the error that came is type error. Int object is not subscriptable, because when you run the first one, you get a list. The first one, you get a list. The second one, you get an integer. You will not get a list. So by the time you do L of 1 or 4, the answer will be 10. So adding 2, I'm attempting to do this. But you cannot, index into 10 because it's an integer. That's why we got type error. Int object is not subscriptable. Okay? Because it keeps resolving one before the other. But then if we had maybe if this 10 was another array, that's a 3rd dimension. So maybe if we put another array there, then 21, 22, 23. Now, if we have it like this, that is having a 3-dimension, because it's an array inside an array inside an array. We can then have that again where we say L of 1, 2, and then maybe I'll say 1. So this will make sense now, because 2 of 1 is not scriptable. Why? So I have, okay, sorry, this shouldn't be 2, it was 4. Save. So the list is on the 4th part. Then when I run it now, in that 4th part, I now entered 1, which is 21. So the answer got out 21 for us. Okay. So list now can have dimensions depending on how deep it goes. But your own now is to see how you can access them, understand the list you're dealing with, and access it. This dimension is different from maybe say 3x3 matrix, 2x2 matrix. No, in maths, that's maths. But this one now is just list. When we say 2-dimensional list, we're just saying list in a list. 3-dimensional list, list in a list in a list. Okay. Any question?
Continue.
Very clear.
Okay. So with these tools now, you can further manipulate lists when you see them. We're just talking about these tools. I'll always still reiterate that it's only when you go back to the exercises and try to solve them that you now begin to appreciate most of what we are talking about. All this list comprehension, two-dimensional lists. If you go through this chapter too, you'll see that there are some exercises which they did. Okay. So in the absence of any question, we can then take the question from Benjamin. He was asking about chapter 6. So you can go ahead, Benji. Benjamin.
Yes. Good afternoon. Good morning. Sorry, good evening.
Good everything.
Okay, let me actually I'm getting some challenge while trying to solve. It's like number 9 of exercise 6. Number 9, number
Of chapter 6.
Yes, sir. Let me open this. Then
Is it this one showing on the screen?
yes. I think number 23 also. 22.
Okay.
I will try and do number 21 and 19.
So number 9, what and what again?
Number 9. I did number 10, but it was not aligned. It was not straight. It was going, like zigzag.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how all like this, but it couldn't go through. So that number 9, number 10, I just need a touch. Then number 11 too, I did, but the A was still coming down. After I did escape, use one of the escape, should I call it? Escape
Character.
Characters, yeah, escape characters. Number 12 too, I'm also getting some challenge.
So we should solve all of them.
No, I know when they solve, there's a way you solve, but you are not getting exactly what I really want. So
Wait, let's start with one first.
Okay, number 9.
Number 9. And this number 9 is saying that you should ask the user for a number and then print the following where the pattern ends at the number that the user entered. So basically you print 1, you have a space, you print 2, you have a space, you print 3, or some spaces. Then you have some spaces, you print 4, and so on and so forth. Does anyone have anything to say? How can we tackle this? Okay, I think this one looks a little bit simple in the sense that you just need to study the pattern and understand it. So, what they're trying to say, you print the first number, then you leave one space, like stepwise, like a step. Then you print the second number, leave 2 spaces, the third number, then 3 spaces, the fourth number. So you can just use a for loop with range. For I in range, something like this. Let's say the user brings this. So now you ask the user and he gives you the number, then you can say for I in range N, which is the number the user supplied. Okay. For I in range N, you can print empty space times I minus 1. Okay, and let's put it this way. Let us start from 1 to N. Okay, so that the first number that our range will give us will be 1. And then you will print this. You can then just make, and then you put I. I think this will work. This will work. Benjamin.
Okay.
This should work. It should work.
Let me just do as you did.
Let me even run it and let's see. So if I save it, then run. Okay, so I run it. Enter a number 5. So what I'm saying now, okay, so let's put this in bracket so that doesn't confuse it. Unsupported operand types for minus, string, and integer. Let me run it again and then see. So okay, now it's giving, this is what they want us to do. Okay, but stop at the number 5, which means I should do n plus 1. So n inclusive, and then r plus 1. Right? Save it, run it again. Then you see it. Benjamin, is it understood?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Then, thank you. Then number 10. Number 10. Let me, okay, I can share my screen.
Number 10.
Yes. It's going zigzag from
This
my
number
own
10,
end.
yeah.
Yes, number 10.
So this one, you ask the user for a string. Then for each element in the string, you just print that element times 2. Okay?
Yeah, I did it.
Now, you didn't get the
So
answer.
I also use escape character to print on a new line. But it will just give me, it will come, the HH will come on the right, then the EE will come second line. I mean, the HH will come first line on the left. The EE will come second line on the right.
This is it. So you collect a string, and then you use the for loop. Remember, we can loop through a string. So for each item in the string, print the item times 2. So if we run it now, enter a string. So that's it. Benjamin.
Yes, I'm seeing it.
Just take each element of the string and multiply it by 2. Remember, when we talk about string, we talked about repetition. So this is just a repetition exercise. Can you repeat the members like that, like that? You just multiply by 2.
Let me paste number 11 and see
Okay.
what I did.
Write a program that asks the user to enter a word that contains the letter A. The program should then print the following 2 lines. On the first line should be the part of the string up to and including the first letter A. And on the second line should be the rest of the string. Sample happened to follow. Okay, let's see what you did.
I pasted it.
Did you paste it here?
In the WhatsApp. Okay, let me put it in the chat box.
Okay.
I put it in the chat box.
This is it.
Yeah.
Why do you have minus index here?
Because just a kind of, I have to be consulting, doing some research and see how.
Yeah, I have to say that you're on the right track anyway. You have your split character as this, so you found the index where it is located, and then you split the left part should be the word from the beginning to, you should do index plus 1, okay? So this will be the index A, maybe if it's on 5. So if you do 5 plus 1, A will be inclusive, then it will now split it from 6. Then the remaining part will now be start from index plus 1 to the end. Let me just see if I can modify this like this. No minus index. Do this. Index plus 1. No, what am I doing? Like this. And then the second one should be, in fact, can't I add 1 here? Let me do this. So that I'll stop doing all this index plus 1. So you just do up to index like this, right? This is it. So you do from, because now if the index is 5, I added 1, so it will be 6. Then I'll now take the left up to that point A. Then the right will be from that point now going up. This will be it. Okay, so is that all?
No. So let me just attempt the rest.
All right.
If I'm not able to get it, I will put